이대로 있으면 적당해.
예술이다, 예술.
아니, 됐어. 수고했어.
Hello, I'm IGM researcher Rich. Does this sound familiar to you? Are your employees like this? Unfortunately, with these types of office workers, it's almost impossible to expect any sort of productivity. But let's face it, office work isn't always exciting. It's easy to get bored doing the same thing day in and day out, and some tasks just feel downright insignificant. There must be something a leader can do to fix this. Let's take a look at some of the experiments renowned behavioral economist Professor Dan Ariely conducted on this matter. Have you ever heard of Sisyphus in Greek mythology? Sisyphus was punished by being forced to roll a boulder up a hill only to watch it roll back down and was bound to repeat this forever. Unfortunately, there are employees who feel that this type of punishment also exists in the workplace. By doing the same work day in and day out and never getting a sense of accomplishment, these employees simply give in to the boredom. Ariely conducted an experiment where he divided the participants into groups A and B. Both groups were given the task of making robots out of Lego blocks. Group A was told to make their robots and to stack them neatly on top of a table where they could be seen. Group B's completed robots, however, were immediately disassembled by supervisors who returned the parts back to the group. So, what do you think the results were? Group A assembled more robots while experiencing much less boredom than Group B. But why? By placing their completed robots on the table, Group A was able to experience the fruits of their labor and gain a sense of accomplishment, which kept them engaged throughout the whole process. On the other hand, since Group B's robots were disassembled as soon as they put them together, they lost all sense of purpose and motivation for the task, leading to boredom and low productivity. By making Group B constantly repeat what they considered a meaningless task, they lost their joy for work. So how do you prevent this? Employees will feel a sense of accomplishment, however small it might be, if the results of their work can be visualized frequently. Giving employees regular feedback and coaching on their progress is also another way of keeping them interested and focused. Obviously, this is easier said than done. Whenever I'm in the office, it's always the same paperwork that has to be done. It's important, but it can feel like a daily routine. To be honest, it's not often that some big important project comes along to shake things up. Normally, it's the same tasks over and over again, and whereas work may be fun, some of the tasks can be rather boring. The problem isn't just employees getting bored with their daily work, it's also the leaders who assume that it's an inevitable part of work. Let's look at another experiment. Researchers took groups A and B and showed them small pieces of paper with letters written on them. Each group was told to find and separate the papers with the same letters on them. Whenever Group A found a correct piece of paper, they were complimented with a "well done" or "that was excellent." No reaction, however, was given when Group B found a correct piece of paper. At the end of the experiment, Group A was far more interested than Group B and accomplished twice the work. This experiment shows that motivation increases when others take interest. Thus, when employees come to you for feedback on even the most remedial of tasks, Instead of being indifferent and saying things like, just leave it there, acknowledge it and say something like, well done. I'll take a closer look at it a little later. Then, after you finish reviewing it, offer the employee constructive feedback that shows you're interested in their work. This must be done on a company-wide level, and all leaders must be trained to give subordinates constructive feedback and show interest. Being in charge of specific tasks for several years enhances expertise and know-how. This normally means work that used to require 120% effort now only demands half the effort. But be careful. This is usually when employees unknowingly develop certain mannerisms and become bored easily. In relation to this dilemma, Ariely conducted an experiment where he asked participants to fold origami paper and then proceeded to ask them how much they were willing to pay for their work. The folded paper had varying levels of difficulty. According to Ariely's experiments, employees consider tasks that require more time and effort to be of higher value. In other words, most employees determine the value of their work in proportion to the effort that was put into it. Therefore, the more value an employee places in their work, the more pleasure they receive. So employees must be given tasks that suit them. Therefore, leaders must assign and adjust tasks to the level of each employee. If there are signs that the current tasks of an employee aren't challenging enough, give them more responsibility or a completely different task altogether. Actions like this will make employees more focused and have them eager to complete their given tasks. There you have it. Helping employees discover the joy in work isn't as hard as it sounds. Those who enjoy work are those who are also the most productive. So remember the 3 tips we went over today and fill your company with employees who love their work.